Welcome everyone. Hello to all the parents. I'm the Dean of Commerce, Linda Ronnie, and I'm here together with my team, the Deputy Dean of Undergraduate Affairs, Professor Ulrika Rivet, who you'll get to see later, and also our Commerce Faculty Manager, Nonwe de Cares. So I'm hoping our presentation will set you at ease regarding your students' life, not only on the campus, but certainly within our faculty. So what is the vision of commerce? Our vision is to be recognized globally as the leading commerce faculty in Africa, attracting the best students, excellent support staff, and academic staff who are at the forefront of research and pedagogy. So your children are here, or your wards are here, to have our undergraduate experience. But how do we at Commerce see the undergraduate experience? What do we think its usefulness is? What are we developing within our students? The first thing we are focused on is something we called graduateness. So we're wanting our students to leave after their years with us and develop a particular set of skills. These are critical thinking skills. So we want our graduates to go out into the world of work, wherever that might be, and be able to think for themselves and appreciate different perspectives. We also want them obviously to have excellent communication skills, whether that be in the written or oral form. They must be able to communicate with other people and sell the ideas and so on. We also want our graduates not to be silo thinkers. So you'll be aware by now that they're doing a variety of subjects, and we would like to think that we integrate that knowledge in our curriculum and in our teaching, because we send out to the world of work a whole person. And then finally, we'd like to think we inculcate in our graduates the love of lifelong learning. And that simply means the desire to carry on learning no matter the set of circumstance, whether that learning occurs in the work environment, or whether they come back to us at UCT and pick up a postgraduate course. It is, as many of you would know, an absolutely essential skill to be able to have, and that is one where you continually search for knowledge and add to your existing knowledge base. Some of the things, as we're well aware now, some of the things that we're learning will probably be outdated in 10 years' time. So it's the love of learning we're really wanting to inculcate. Then we would also like to develop resilience to manage change, because the world is certainly undergoing tumultuous change, not only in the pandemic environment with which we find ourselves now, within which we find ourselves, but just normal kind of move towards innovation and so on. And we'd like our graduates to go out there being kind of mentally tough and being able to contribute in circumstances that might be changing throughout their work lives. And then finally, of course, our focus really is on personal growth and development. And we hope that our students are open to that at the start of the experience. I think the more open you are, the more likely it is that you grow and develop. Get to know new people, new perspectives, new ways of learning, and add to this whole rich experience that is university life. From a teaching and learning perspective then, we've been fortunate, I would say, for the 2021 year, that we have learned from our experiences in 2020, where we at basically the drop of a hat had to learn how to adapt to an online environment. Quite a tricky one for a university such as UCT, because we naturally prefer the face-to-face encounters with our students. but the pandemic, alas, had other ideas. So all the insights and all the learnings that we experienced last year, we've taken on board to craft a really rich experience for students this year. So we've really adapted, I think, exceptionally well, and our academics have been absolutely amazing in terms of new techniques and new processes that they are using in the online classroom environment. Of course, there are other ways of interacting with our students, and our learning management platform called Vulla, which some of you may know if you've been part of your child's journey through the orientation program. That's really been used to full effect during this time. We've got other ways of reaching out to students, hot seats, which you'll learn more about, chat rooms, and of course, small group tutorials. So Commerce is, because of its very large numbers of students, and especially in the first year, our entire teaching program is premised upon small group tutorials. I think it just, besides in the online space, but just as a mechanism in the first instance, is wonderful, because often and you can think about yourselves back in the day when you were in a learning environment, it's often quite awkward to raise your hand in a large group and say that you're not quite following what the lecturer is saying. And the small group tutorials are absolutely brilliant at making students feel comfortable about asking those questions and about learning in a way that supplements the large group experience. Our tutors are also past students and some current academics, so there's a real rich experience of sharing past learnings and so on. We also provide lots of support, and I will talk to you about that in a short while. But there's support built into our teaching and learning operations. Lots of people have been asking questions about particular courses, and we have pointed our students to the website where you are able to see at a glance the mode of teaching for each particular course, the course convener, and also you will find contact details there. A very useful resource. Okay, so let me talk you through all our commerce disciplines. It really doesn't matter which program your son or daughter is registered for. We have some common principles. Across all our disciplines, our students find themselves top in the professional exams, and I suppose there are many of you here at the moment thinking about the CA exams or the ones for ESSA in the actuarial science stream. But our students do really, really well in those exams, so we do prepare them excellently. Then our graduates are in demand. That is something we are particularly proud of, so it also reinforces that we're doing the right thing. Within commerce itself, we do have a number of dynamic research units as well, and that's just absolutely amazing when you get to learn a little bit more about the faculty, and your offspring gets to learn a little bit more about the faculty. There are always opportunities to go into learning about a particular area in a lot more detail because of our really fantastic research units. We've got very good international links. And from a teaching staff perspective, we have and are very proud of our educators who have obviously really good educational skills, but also coupled with very high levels of technical skills. And this is besides their caring abilities. So our teaching staff are involved in professional development. Our educators don't just sort of start teaching, they get prepared for being good educators, and there is an ongoing access to professional development. They also, a number of them author textbooks which they use in their teaching, and I think that's really brilliant because those textbooks are also used at other universities, which says something about the quality of the work that's produced. And then our teaching staff who are involved in research and sometimes in these dynamic research units I've alluded to are closely aligned with policy making, both at local and national government level. And then finally, we have an absolutely outstanding academic development program where those students who've chosen to go into those streams get well supported. So let me talk you through how we can think about supporting first-year students. And I want to really divide this into 3 areas. What we think the students can do themselves, how you could assist, and then what we as a faculty are doing to support our first years. So what the student can do. I think being engaged really encompasses what we're expecting from students and what we try and encourage through various means. So the obvious one, of course, is attendance. Attending the online lectures and attending the tutorials, whether they be in online format or whether they are in the face-to-face mode. Important to that as well is to set up a structured work plan and timetable. They'll have a sense of their own timetable, so they'll have to set this out themselves. And remember, while you're thinking of, what you can do as a parent, we're really quite clear that the student needs to do this. They need to set it up because they need to make it work for themselves. The other really important aspect is that students need to ask for help early in the process. So if they're struggling with anything, they need to bring that to our attention early on so that we might do something about it. I'm thinking of several examples here when people write to me, often parents, but students themselves in the main, write to me and they tell me about all the troubles that they've had during the year. And they've never shared that with anyone else. And the important thing is not to try and fix it after things have gone all pear-shaped, but for students to raise their concerns early on so that these might be addressed. And then we think, really, they should read, and read, because often the kind of questions students ask, we point them to websites, we point them to their course outlines where all the answers to their questions might lie. So reading, an absolutely critical skill. Then the other aspect is, and this is going to be somewhat of a challenge, but is therefore something that students must pay close attention to, and that is to make friends, to build networks. So the face-to-face tutorials will help with that, I think, somewhat, because students will see each other in the flesh, and that will help with sort of bonding with people who you've never met before. But one would think this generation of students is really well connected in the online space. So I'm presuming that they will simply build on those existing skills and loop in new friends. But friends are absolutely essential to the richness of the experience and also from a support perspective. Then this is what we want them to do. We want them to engage with, in the first instance, their tutors, then their course conveners, and their student advisors directly. So, I did say I was going to talk about the parental role here. When students come into the university environment, it is our relationship with the student that is absolutely critical. And so it is the student who must write to the tutor, talk to the tutor. It is the student who must talk to the course convener, etc. So we want them to engage with the tutors or the teaching staff directly. And then I've made a little note here about the 48-hour rule. When students write, sometimes they expect an answer immediately. This is not likely to happen. We have well in excess of 1,000 first-year students this year. Altogether, we have just over 6,500 students in the Commerce faculty. So a slight delay is likely. We encourage students to allow 48 hours for a response before escalating it to the next person. So engagement from their side and directly from them to the teaching staff involved is absolutely critical. Okay, now how could you assist? How could you as a caregiver assist in the process of supporting students during this first year? I think the important thing to remember is this is an incredible transition phase for students. They are moving from being monitored in the school environment to having control of things in the university environment. For example, if they don't hand in a piece of work that's due, nobody's going to ask them where it is. So responsibility and self-efficacy really becomes important. They are moving to this, and you need to be helping them, I guess, through this period by allowing them to be individuals. Now, I think it's going to be quite tricky because usually we have them with us and we can work our bits of magic at the same time. Now they're likely to be in your home, and so I would say perhaps the inclination and you might not be able to kind of resist getting involved in what they're doing. So this is going to be a tricky phase for you too. It is a transition phase for you too, because your child has become an adult, a young adult, overnight. So this is something you're going to have to deal with as well. Important, of course, is if your child is not in our residential system, is to create a conducive learning environment for them. So that's absolutely critical. Again, based on the plan and timetable they themselves have developed. And then yes, so here we have this independent young person, and what really is required from you is support. So they're going to meet all sorts of people. They're going to be exposed to different perspectives, and it is likely that a young person who might have held very clear views last year will suddenly start engaging you in quite a different way, and even possibly slightly confrontational. This is all part of the transition, and it's all a healthy part of a young person becoming independent. So it's a challenging time for parents, but I'm sure you're more than up for it, especially if this is not the first one that you are sending into the higher education space. And then, yeah, from our side, may I say, it's important that parents are interested. It really is important, but there is a little line that I think one needs to be careful not to cross, and that is attempting to interfere in what's happening. You'll know this as a parent, that there's this fine line to be walked at all times. So while we are happy to hear if things are going well, or if there are things that may be improved upon, I will say to you that when parents write to us, I write back and say, I am not allowed, because I'm not allowed because of the Privacy Act that's just come into being in South Africa, I am not allowed to share information about any student with even their parent without their say-so. So in fact, it is the student that must write to us and raise the issue, and then we are able to have that conversation. And I think that that's also part of kind of independence and so on. Because remember, what are we doing? We are preparing young people for the world of work, and they must learn how to negotiate and put their issues on the table. Okay, so it's a challenging time, I think, for parents. And if some of you are first-time university parents, oh, that's going to be a little tough at the start, but it's fabulous as the year progresses. Then, what are we doing as a faculty? I would say with great certainty that we have responsive and caring staff, not only in a sort of a mechanical way, but staff who really, whether they're teaching or whether they are our support and administrative staff, they care about the students that are there and are wanting to assist them in any way that they can. What we also do is, and you might have noticed if you'd had a look at the courses that your son or daughter is enrolled on, is that some of the courses occur in other faculties, such as, for example, the science faculty for mathematics and the law faculty for the law course. So we have an excellent relationship with other faculties, and we're also aware of the students' performance there and can thus respond appropriately. One of the things I think that the COVID pandemic has really helped us move towards is a more complete or holistic assessment of the progress of the student. And we have, for example, all our first year course conveners regularly getting together this year to ensure that no student is left behind. And I think that's critical for you to know, that there is this ongoing assessment of the progress of each of the students. We also offer, along with the university, you may have heard in the previous presentation, if you've been to that one, about the wellness services offered by the university at large. Commerce supplements those by having our own psychologists, because we feel students must be able to have easy access to someone to talk to if they need it. And our psychologists are really quite, because they come from the UCT pool, they are very responsive, and students have found them incredibly helpful. You know, one never knows how young people will react to this shifting learning environment. And so besides the academic matters, which we take care of. The wellness services take care of any other emotional or psychosocial issue. We also have an absolutely excellent Commerce Students Council. So if a student feels that they're not getting the attention for the problem they deserve, or even that they'd like to suggest that we do something differently, the CSC really is the first port of call there for those suggestions. And we meet regularly with them, and they attend our meetings and so on. So they're well integrated into faculty affairs. We also at the university level have the Office of Inclusivity and Change for any other issues students might have on the campus at large, and of course every student is welcome to check in with them in terms of their services. And then something we're doing, which we think is absolutely fantastic, is our first term toolkit. So I'm going to take you through that briefly. Okay, so this is our first term toolkit, and it is trying to get students to acclimatize to the environment. So you'll see, let me go through the little roadmap here, how to learn. So we talk them through Vula, emails, tutorials, face-to-face lectures, just getting to know UCT's learning environment. Then very importantly, we talk them through assessment methods, which may not be something, or we may use techniques that they might not have been familiar with during their high school years. Then we're on to managing your time, because it often feels like there's so much time, and yet the only way one manages it is if one sets up this little timetable and alerts oneself to the project due next week. Then we talk through how to study, so self-study, studying groups, and so on. And then importantly, we do a wellness self-check so that students then have an opportunity to be in a calm space and think about how they're doing, how they're coping. If they're feeling lost, what are the mechanisms for them to get back on the path again? Two other things we do are managing your social media, just in case they've missed that out in your home. So we try and tell them or talk them through how they might be better at managing that space. And then what we do at the end of it is we have a midterm reflection where students have to think about whether they're up to date with their studies and so on. So we find this an incredibly supportive toolkit, and the feedback from our students has been absolutely fantastic, and how they've gotten to know others in the space and how they've gotten to know themselves, more importantly. Okay, so I've got to the end of my presentation, and I'm going to hand over now to our Deputy Dean of Undergrad Affairs, Ulrika Rivet, who will take some of your questions. Thank you so much, Ulrika, and thank you, and really nice to meet you in the online space, parents. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have been busy answering some of the questions in the live question and answer sessions on the sidelines. And perhaps some of the important aspects that are being pointed out is, for example, questions around the registration, just to reassure everybody who is currently still busy and some of the students who might be stuck on what many call here step 12. So if you are stuck on step 12, then please don't worry. Step 12 means that we are currently reviewing your application, and once step 12 is done, the student will basically see that the classes are scheduled for them. So don't worry about that. We're busy with that as we speak. There were also some questions, and I'm just checking through them here with regards to the library. If the library will be open, the library is open and students can apply to access the library. Again, this will all be made public by the course conveners next week. So perhaps to just ease you into what will happen next week. On Monday, we're starting lectures, and for most of our students, definitely for first-year students, it will start in the online space. So your son or daughter will get up in the morning and log on to Woola, and they will see all the courses they're registered for, and they will start seeing that each of the course convener has basically put the documentation up, and they will start developing a timetable based on that. So compared to school, where that was done for them, they will now develop their own timetable. So they will use the time reading through the materials of each course, and then see where the course convener said when they will meet with them in live sessions, online live sessions, and basically start scheduling their timetables through that. There will also be work being given throughout the week. There will be tutorial sessions held. They will sign up for these tutorial sessions, and their week will fill up pretty quickly, and there will also be work done every week. So if you feel at the moment you don't have a timetable in front of you, that's quite normal. That's part of university life. They will put that timetable together next week, and it is really all available on Woola. I would also encourage any of the students, and also you as parents, to encourage and as funders to encourage the students to really go over the weekend one last time over the Woola orientation site, and to really look through the material that's prepared there and provided to them. All of that material is really important. The reason we put it there is because it is really important. So it's not only informative, it's also a lot of it is really crucial for them to understand. So they should spend some good time going through the material so that they understand what is expected of them. I'm also looking through some of the other questions. Let me just go through some of the questions here. With regards to face-to-face classes, really important also look at the Teaching in Commerce 2021 website. We have published that earlier. You will see which of the classes are prepared, have prepared for face-to-face tutorial sessions for quite a number of our courses. The exams will be held on campus, and that's for a number of reasons. As you know, our degrees are accredited, and in order to ensure that exams are held under controlled and also invigilated conditions, we have to ensure that all students are sitting in the same room under the same conditions and are writing the exam individually. This is really important so that we don't lose accreditation for our degrees. So we ask you to support your child and that they come to the exams. There won't be any possibility to make different arrangements, specifically also because our classes are very big. So in a class of 1,000 students, everybody will have to do the same thing. We won't be able to make special arrangements. So please have a look on that website to identify each of the courses that your son or daughter is doing with us, and to see what the requirements are for that particular course. Face-to-face classes, so as I said, some of the courses have opted for small tutorials. In certain courses like mathematics and statistics, there are small tutorials being offered, and students can take part in them. They're also welcome to take part in them online. Again, course conveners will make that all known on Monday on the Woola site in the different sites. Yeah, there's a step 13, step 12. If there is a question, there's a question here with regards to a wrong course that is shown. If there's a course that is wrong, please ask your daughter to write to the Commerce Faculty Office. She would know the contact details. They are on the Woola site, and request that the courses be changed. That's quite a simple step. Sometimes these mistakes happen, and we will then address it immediately. She can write directly to the Commerce Faculty to make the change to the courses. Let me just see if there's anything else. The toolkit is on the WULA orientation site. So just to say that toolkit that you saw there is available right now on the WULA site. Please have a look at it. Please go through it. There's specifically good sessions on how to manage your social media, how to manage procrastination, and how to deal with many of the challenges our students are facing as they are starting to get into this environment. If you have any other questions with regards to the registration process, please don't hesitate to contact us. Your son and daughter does have the contact details, as Prof. Ronnie said. There is a bit of a delay because we're trying to work as hard as possible. There will be no impact on your son or daughter if they are already in the registration process, if there is a delay. So you're very welcome to write us an email if you're concerned about any of the steps within your registration process. A couple of parents have written about the NSFAS situation. Just to reassure you, the university is currently engaging with NSFAS, with the department, to understand exactly what the situation is. We will be in touch and we will communicate around that from next week onwards. Again, you're welcome to write to us with regards to concerns of dropping courses, when that deadline will be. We will inform your children when courses can be dropped without being affected from a financial point of view. Deadlines will be made available. So what's really important, and you can hear that even as we speak, there will be a lot of information, and it's at times very overwhelming to know where to look and what to do. And I really would encourage you and also to remind the student in your house that they must be in contact with student advisors, with course conveners, people like myself. We will respond to emails. They can write to each of their course conveners if they're stuck and they don't know where to go. Please encourage them to learn to be brave and write us emails, pick up the phone. We need them to learn to do that themselves. So whilst we really appreciate when you interact with us and contact us, it's the first step is to encourage them to do it themselves. And so we really need you to assist them in that, as much as we appreciate that in certain times it is also important for you to get in touch with us. If there ever is a question, you're also welcome to contact me directly. The email addresses for myself are made available, I believe, on this orientation website as well. All right, I don't know if there are any other questions. I'm just looking through the list here. With regards to tests and exams being held online, please also again you need to check on the Teaching Commerce site what the requirement is for each course, and you will see on that site the name of the course convener and the email address is provided. So please contact the course convener directly. For tests, there might be different arrangements, but just to reassure you and to reconfirm that for the exams, student will have to be on campus if that is the requirement for that particular course. And that is certainly the case for the mathematics courses and for some of the statistics courses, as well as accounting. So please check the website, and if you need to get further confirmation, please contact the relevant course convener. All right, I think from that perspective, that is most of the question. I'm still looking through. If there's anything else, please type your questions if you have any other ones. Registration dates, our registration dates are not extended. So our registration dates are closing due to the fact that by the end of this week, due to the fact that we have a limited number of places. So we cannot extend our registration dates as our places are basically filled up. There is questions regarding financial aid. So with regards to financial aid from the University of Cape Town, please would you go to the fees website and the financial aid website of the University of Cape Town. If you require any information regarding that, would you please also put that information? I will respond to you here on the question, but also if you go to the UCT website, you will find a direct link to financial aid, and all the relevant information is given and provided on that site. But to the people who asked the question in the chat here, I will respond to you as soon as this session is over, because I'm just running through it now. Yeah, I think this is pretty much all the aspects. I don't know if our faculty manager would like to say anything else. Otherwise, I give it to a hand over back to our Dean, Prof. Ronnie.
Well, everyone, I would just like to really thank you for attending, and hopefully you've been provided with enough information that allows you to feel more relaxed about your child coming not only to UCT, but to the Commerce faculty. Please, the next time I hope to be seeing you, if seeing you can be that true in an online space, is at graduation. We look forward to the continued success of your daughter or son, and we do our best to ensure that they leave the university with a qualification they and us can be extremely proud of. Thank you so much for attending, and enjoy the weekend. Goodbye.